The Battle of Inchon, also known as Operation Chromite, stands as one of the most decisive and daring operations in modern military history. Taking place during the Korean War in September 1950, this amphibious invasion, orchestrated by United Nations (UN) forces under the command of General Douglas MacArthur, marked a turning point in the conflict. The success of the operation not only reversed the North Korean advance, but also redefined amphibious warfare strategies. This account delves into the intricate planning, challenges, and the high-stakes execution that made Inchon a remarkable victory against formidable odds. In the summer of 1950, the Korean peninsula was a land engulfed in chaos. The Korean War had erupted only months earlier, with North Korean forces, backed by the Soviet Union and China, surging across the 38th parallel into South Korea. Their advance was relentless, driving South Korean and US forces into a desperate defensive stand in the southeast corner of the peninsula, known as the Pusan Perimeter. The odds were stacked against the UN coalition. Supplies were dwindling, morale was waning, and the enemy held the upper hand in both numbers and momentum. As the situation grew more dire, the call for a bold counteroffensive became inescapable. General Douglas MacArthur, a man known for his audacity, stepped forward with a plan that many considered foolhardy: an amphibious landing at Inchon, a port city near Seoul. The proposal faced skepticism from military strategists who viewed Inchon's natural and logistical challenges as insurmountable. However, MacArthur's conviction was unwavering. He saw not just the risks, but the rewards: a chance to strike at the heart of North Korean supply lines and reclaim the initiative in the war. From the outset, Inchon seemed an impossible target. The city's geography was its greatest defense. With some of the highest tidal fluctuations in the world, the port was accessible only during narrow windows of high tide. Surrounding mudflats and submerged rocks posed navigational hazards, threatening to strand landing craft far from the shore. On land, Inchon's urban sprawl presented a battlefield ill-suited for a traditional amphibious assault. To make matters worse, North Korean forces had fortified their positions, confident that no rational commander would attempt an attack in such an unfavorable location. Yet, it was precisely this perceived impossibility that made Inchon the perfect target. MacArthur believed that by striking where the enemy least expected, the operation could achieve complete surprise. The risks were undeniable, but the potential reward, a decisive blow to the enemy, was too great to ignore. The planning for Operation Chromite began in earnest, blending meticulous detail with bold vision. To mislead the North Koreans, the UN forces orchestrated a series of feints and misinformation campaigns, suggesting an imminent landing at Kunsan, far to the south of Inchon. This effort successfully diverted enemy attention, leaving Inchon vulnerable to the real assault. Behind the scenes, reconnaissance missions provided vital intelligence. South Korean operatives infiltrated the city, mapping enemy defenses and confirming tidal patterns. Their work, combined with aerial surveys, offered a clearer picture of the challenges ahead. Meanwhile, a massive task force was assembled. Over 260 ships, 70,000 troops, and 500 aircraft converged under the banner of the UN coalition. Troops underwent rigorous training in amphibious warfare, ensuring they were prepared for the unique conditions they would face. MacArthur himself played a pivotal role, personally championing the plan and rallying the support needed to see it through. His leadership, though polarizing, infused the operation with a sense of purpose and urgency. As dawn broke on September 15, 1950, the operation began. The first objective was Walmi-do, a small island guarding Inchon's harbour. Naval bombardments and airstrikes lit up the island as US Marines stormed ashore in the early hours. Despite fierce resistance, they secured Walmi-do within hours, paving the way for the main landing. Later that day, the tide rose, and the 1st Marine Division began their assault on Inchon's beaches. The approach was perilous, with narrow channels and treacherous mudflats threatening to derail the landing. Yet, the Marines pressed forward, their discipline and preparation shining through. When they reached the shore, they encountered scattered resistance from North Korean defenders, who were caught off guard by the audacity of the attack. Inchon fell quickly, and the UN forces established a secure beachhead ready to push inland. With Inchon under control, attention turned to Seoul, just 20 miles to the east. The battle for the South Korean capital was fierce, marked by grueling urban combat. Street by street, building by building, the UN forces advanced. By September 28th, they had recaptured the city, delivering a symbolic and strategic victory that dealt a severe blow to North Korean ambitions. The success of the Battle of Inchon rested on several key factors. First and foremost was the element of surprise. By choosing a target that defied conventional wisdom, MacArthur ensured that the enemy was unprepared. The psychological impact of this surprise was profound, sowing confusion and fear among North Korean ranks. Another critical factor was the overwhelming firepower brought to bear by the UN forces. Naval and air support played a decisive role, neutralizing enemy defenses and providing cover for the advancing troops. Equally important was the integration of different branches of the military. The coordination between naval, air, and ground units exemplified modern combined arms warfare, allowing for a seamless adaptation to the challenges of the battlefield. Finally, leadership made all the difference. MacArthur's vision and determination inspired his subordinates, while the training and discipline of the troops ensured that the plan was executed with precision. The victory at Inchon was a turning point in the Korean War. It forced North Korean forces into a retreat, breaking their stranglehold on South Korea and allowing UN forces to push northward. The operation validated the use of amphibious warfare in modern conflicts, proving that even the most daunting obstacles could be overcome with ingenuity and determination. Inchon also revitalized the morale of UN forces and their allies, demonstrating the coalition's resolve and capability. However, the success came with consequences. It solidified MacArthur's reputation as a military genius, but also emboldened him to pursue more aggressive strategies, leading to controversies that would ultimately result in his dismissal. The Battle of Inchon remains a testament to the power of audacious planning and decisive leadership. Against all odds, the operation achieved what many thought impossible, turning the tide of the Korean War and leaving an enduring legacy in military history. By revisiting the tactics and decisions that defined this moment, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity and courage that shaped the course of history.